Welcome everyone to our Sunday call. Today is September 13th. We have a very special guest, Danny. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce your last name. I don't want to mess it up. Danny G. And tonight she's going to be speaking about the importance of keeping your business open. Danny is a diamond coach. She's been coaching since March of 2014, correct? And she is a mother of 3 children. She's going to tell us a little bit about that. She is the wife of a cop, and she is a stay-at-home mom. So I'm super, super excited to have you on our call. Thank you so much for spending Sunday night with us. We're very grateful for that. And tell us a little bit about how you got into Beachbody and coaching and all of that.
So actually, Darlene is my upline coach, and she approached me and my husband back in February of 2014. And I kept telling her, no. I was like, I don't know what you're trying to get me to do, but I'm not interested. We had a lot on our plate, and I wanted to lose weight, but I wasn't really interested in starting a specific program. I wasn't looking for a job. I wasn't looking to make extra money. So finally in March, she reached out again. I was like, fine, just sign me up, whatever it is, 30-day money back guarantee. If I don't like it, I'll send it back. Well, I tell her all the time, I am so grateful for not giving up on me, constantly inviting me, not just disappearing when I would say no.
That was it.
And when I started my program, I did not think I was going to coach or sign people up or make this a career or anything. I looked at it as, well, I wanted to lose the extra baby weight I still had. And if someone signed up, someone signed up. So I actually started with Les Mills Combat. And in the first month, I forgot how much weight I lost. I lost like 10 pounds, and friends and family were like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I was telling them about it. They're like, I want to sign up. I want to sign up. So finally I talked to Darlene. I started doing trainings. I was reading the back office constantly. I was reading the product training guides, doing personal development. First 4 months I hit Success Club. I was loving it. I was like, oh, actually, I feel like I have a purpose. I love being a mom. I love being a wife. But before I was a mom and a wife, I graduated from the Culinary Institute of America. I was a pastry chef. I worked for the Ritz-Carlton doing meetings and special events. So when I became a mom, I had the intentions of going back to work, but we were in a really bad car accident, and I couldn't return to work. I'm still actually not cleared to go back to work outside of the home yet. So I actually use Beachbody. My husband helps me with it as almost like occupational therapy. So that eventually, if I want to, I can go back out into the work field. So after I started getting all the results and people signing up and stuff, I was like, oh, this is, fantastic. But, my luck started to run out. I wasn't really sure what I had to really do in the business. We always hear about the 3 vital behaviors: be product of the product, personal development, invite. So I hit Success Club my first 4 months. It was great. But I was not being consistent. I was not inviting consistently. I was doing my workouts and drinking my shakes, but I wasn't constantly sharing that so people knew what I was doing. And I read Compound Effect as my first personal development. And then I was like, oh, I'm done with it. I don't really need to do any more personal development right now. But after my first 4 months, because I was not being consistent, I didn't hit Success Club. And then I missed Success Club. I think it was in July or August. Then the next month I hit it. Then I was off again. It was almost like a roller coaster. And it was really my fault because I wasn't opening the doors to my business every day. I wasn't promoting on social media. I wasn't going out in public and sharing with people what I was doing. Because let's face it, sometimes life just gets caught up with us. I was like, oh, my kids need me. My husband needs me. I need to do this, this, and this. Beachbody can wait. So, and my husband's not home a lot. He's a police officer. He works 3 to 4 12-hour shifts, and he picks up any overtime that he can. And his overtime hours are not, they could be, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. They can be 5 a.m. to 1. They're all over the place. And he actually works nights. He works overnights. He's gone from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m., sleeps during the day, and goes back to work. So we see him for a half hour in the morning and about 2 hours before he goes back to work, because he'll get up, do his workout, see the kids, eat dinner, and then leave again. So all the household responsibility falls on me. Doing the groceries, getting the kids to school, picking them up from school, taking them to their activities, doing the chores, making sure the bills are paid, doctor's appointments, play dates, this and that. It really does fall on me because my husband's not home a lot to help. So sometimes I feel like a single parent, even though financially I'm not a single parent because he's working. So it can be really, really hard. But from our car accident, I suffered from a traumatic brain injury, depression, PTSD, anxiety, and OCD. So on top of taking care of my family and my husband and trying to work a business to bring in some extra income to help, contribute financially to my family so that my husband didn't have all the burden on him. It's really hard, and it really can stress me out a lot. So when things would get tough, I would just completely shut down. I'm an introvert. Like, I usually don't like public speaking. I feel like I'm burning up right now, probably turning bright red.
Girl, you're doing wonderful.
Thank you. So it was easy for me because I have a hard time talking to people that, okay, well, I'm stressed out right now. I don't have time. It's not a big deal. Not realizing how much damage I was doing to my business and the opportunity that was brought to me. I was kind of just doing a disservice to myself and to my family by shutting out. And my husband also, he's a combat veteran, so he also suffers from PTSD. So you can maybe understand that sometimes our house is just a vicious cycle of, PTSD effects. And it was also, my husband makes a good living. Do we live paycheck to paycheck? Yes, sometimes. I wasn't necessarily looking to do this for the money. And even to this day, yes, the money's great. It's helping us pay, down our debt and stuff, but it's given me more of a purpose. Because after the accident, yes, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, but that person that I was before the accident completely vanished. I had more of a purpose before the accident. So this has given me a chance to be able to help others with their goals, help other women see that they're more than just a mom, that they're more than just a wife. So fast forward a little bit, I was on and off with my Success Club and whatnot. I made Diamond in February, hit Success Club that month. Come April, my husband lost his canine partner. So with that, he lost a big chunk of his salary because we no longer had the dog. His job didn't know if they were going to do another canine class. So they took his take-home truck away, which also now meant that my husband had to drive to work, use his truck, and pay for gas. And he actually works for the MTA. So we live up in Dutchess County. So he works anywhere from Wassaic all the way down to Long Island. So now, not only did we lose our canine stipend, now we were spending, I forgot, I think he says we spend like $500 at least a month in gas now for him to get to work. So we were losing money. Then 2 weeks after that on Mother's Day, My littlest one ran right into the counter, had a concussion, a post-concussion seizure, and was airlifted right around the corner from our house to Westchester. So let's just say the stress, my PTSD completely exploded. I messaged Arlene and said, I'm done this month. My business is closed. I'm not opening shop. Don't tag me on anything in any of the coach groups. Don't expect me on call. I'm done. Don't bother me. Don't message me. June 1st, I will try to reopen. But until then, I don't want to hear from you. Luckily, I know Darlene from years ago. We worked together, so she was really good about it. So May was a really, really hard month for us. And also because my husband's job decided to stick him in Penn Station every day. And because we really couldn't afford the gas, he had to take the train every day. So my husband would be gone from 3 p.m. to 10:30 a.m. He would come home, sleep for a couple hours, and be gone again. So my kids did not see him. The two that are in school did not see him at all. So it was a really rough month for us. But I told Darlene June 1st, that was it. I was going to open up. I stuck to it. June 1st, I opened my doors back up. And let me tell you, I had to rebuild my business basically from scratch. During May, I still checked in on my coaches. I checked into my challengers to make sure that they were okay. If they needed anything, I did let them all know, especially my coaches, that look, we're going through a lot of stuff. You know, if I seem a little absent, I apologize. You know, they would call or text and stuff if they needed me. But what I didn't realize what I was doing was, by closing my business, I was also hurting my coaches because they were hearing the excuses. So when I opened my doors June 1st, I basically had to start over. I didn't hit Success Club. I actually had a call with Audrey, and she said, don't expect to hit Success Club for a couple months because you've been gone. You could have lost followers, which I probably did. But my coaches also took it as an opportunity for them to make excuses, for them not to open their business every day. So I didn't hit in June. Actually, I don't think any of my coaches hit Success Club in June. Come July, I actually hit Success Club. I hit it in August. I'm 1 point away this month. But I had to work my behind off in June. I literally spent hours and hours and hours every day. And I told my husband, I said, look, I closed my doors May. In May, we lost commission. We lost challengers. We lost coaches. Like, I was hurting our business. I was hurting our family because I was missing out on all that income. I was doing a disservice to my challengers and to my coaches. But in July, because coaches, we kind of lead by example. Like, if you see your coach working really hard, it's going to make you want to work really hard. Well, because my coaches saw me not working, they decided not to work. And I lost my rank for 2 weeks in July. And I was devastated because I worked so hard for that. And I had never lost my rank before. When I made Emerald, I had never lost my rank before. And I was so upset and hard on myself for it. But I really just had to sit back and realize, it's my fault. I took responsibility for it because I did not show up every day. I wasn't consistent. I wasn't showing my coaches what to do. And they were like, well, if she's not doing it, I don't need to do it. And actually 2 of my coaches were very close to Diamond. And now they're basically not working the business. One has 1 coach left. And the other one has 2 coaches left and sent me a message last month that they're going to cancel. They haven't yet because their challengers keep ordering, so they're still active, but they remove themselves from all of the coach groups. They remove themselves from our challenge group. They remove them from our team chat, and basically said, I don't want anything to do with the business. However, their challengers are still in my challenge group, so now it's my responsibility to take care of them. But that it hurts, because I worked really hard on building my team, and we've had a lot of team meetings, and I've always reached out to my coaches and stuff. So by not opening my business every day, I basically also took the opportunity away from them. Because if they saw that I didn't want it, why would they want it? So my biggest advice for you is, like, I know life throws so many things at us all the time. And we may think that's more important than my business. This is, and you really need to prioritize what is important to you. Yes, I don't know if a lot of you are moms, if you have kids or what. My family is very important. But what I've also sat down and talked to my husband about, this is an opportunity for my husband to come home and not have to work anymore. My husband does not like being a cop anymore. There's too much stuff that he sees. It does not help his PTSD. It makes it worse, which makes family life a lot more hard. So when life throws crazy things at you, you have to just really step back and look at now and the future. Because when everything was going on in April and May, if I stepped back and maybe reached out for help from someone and looked at the long-term effects of what I was doing to my business, to my family and stuff, I probably would not have closed my doors in May. I would have kept my business open. This is, I don't know if a lot of you are doing this for a full-time job, to leave your job, to supplement an income, but it's your business. You are the boss. I used to look at this a lot, like with my excuses. Oh, well, it's not brick and mortar. If I don't show up, it's not a big deal. I didn't invest in, $500,000. It's no big deal. And it actually is a very big deal, because we only invested, at 140, whatever your challenge pack was, which is a very little amount of money for a startup, for a business, and the potential of what you can earn. What's helped me now is I created a schedule and I stick to it as much as possible. Even when the kids get sick, or my husband all of a sudden, is walking out the door because he forgot to tell me he has overtime, I just rearrange the schedule, and I make sure that my business is open every single day. And it makes a big difference, because even people that are not signing up yet for a challenge pack still message me weekly to tell me what a great job I'm doing, or they can't wait to sign up, or how inspirational. And that's what's important for me, is that I'm inspiring other people to change their life. So my biggest advice is, do not do what I did. Don't ever, ever close your doors for any reason whatsoever. Because it's just going to it's going to hurt your business big time. And you don't want to have to basically rebuild it. Do you guys have any questions?
Hey, Danny, thanks so much for sharing that. This is Gabby's sister, by the way.
How are you?
Good. She's momentarily busy with my nephew.
Oh, that's okay. I see.
But thank you so much for sharing your story. Like, I'm like blown away, and I'm sure many of the ladies are, and I can hear in your voice how difficult it was to share that. So thank you so much for just opening up to us. One of the questions I did have was, because you suffer from PTSD, anxiety, depression, I think those are some things that we've all encountered at one time in our life. How do you manage and deal with that now, and making sure that you keep your doors open on a daily basis?
So I was going to therapy every 2 weeks. I was seeing a neuropsychologist, but then he retired, and I still am covered under no fault. And up where I live, it's so hard to find a therapist that takes no fault. So I haven't really been back to therapy, but what I've been doing more of is actually communicating with my husband. He also suffers from PTSD, and he goes to therapy every 2 weeks. But a lot of, like with PTSD, there's certain things that will like trigger it. And my husband and I will like just hold it in and try to like just forget about it, like shove it in a closet. And it was creating tension between us. And when I first started working Beachbody, he had a lot of resentment for all of the hours that I was putting in. So the biggest thing for me right now is that we communicate better. And I try to take some time to myself. You know, when you're a stay-at-home mom, unless like you have like date nights with your girlfriends. I live in the middle of nowhere. I live up in the country. And I think your mom lives not too far from me.
Where are you, Danny?
I'm in Dutchess County, right by Millbrook in Pleasant Valley.
Because Jorge's family is from Ellenville. Is that like close by?
I don't think that's not too much further I think they're like an hour north of us.
Like Middletown area.
Yeah, so you guys, they're west of me, actually.
Okay. Yeah, that's the Boonies, girl.
Yeah, it is. So, you know, and a lot of my friends live in the city, and I can't just like hop in the car and take a joyride down. You know, I have 3 kids, and the only relatives near me are my mom, but she works full time. She's a nurse. So communication has been huge between me and my husband. Also, you know, I'll go to the grocery store by myself. I make it a point that when he is home, he has to watch the kids for an hour so that I can go run errands. And, you know, if some of you ladies are young and don't have a family yet, you may think that's really boring. But when you're a mom, to be able to go to Target without kids is the best feeling ever. So I try to do more of that to kind of keep the stress level down. I do a lot of breathing exercises as well that my therapist had taught me too. And I really just like after the kids go to bed, like I try for like an hour and a half each night just to relax, just to not think about anything, not to think about the cleaning, just to kind of decompress and, you know, just forget about everything. And I usually do work out at night too. That was huge for me, especially after my therapist retired, was working out at night and just fighting all that stress. Like it was a huge stress reliever for me. And I try to work out at night still instead of the mornings.
Thank you. So it sounds like you do a lot of just one day at a time kind of thing and making sure that you take me time to relax and decompress. I'm sure, you know, it's a work in progress. So what do you do when you feel like those excuses start coming up in your head and, you know, you feel like giving up, or like, what do you do in that moment? Is there something you tell yourself or something you remember, keep in mind?
Usually, one, I look at my kids because they're my biggest why. I do a lot of this for them. And I do, like, there are times that, you know, when I feel so stressed and then I sit back and they're playing nicely, you know, in the corner, I'm like, okay, I have to take a step back and I have to chill and just, you know, kind of like do some breathing exercises and stuff. But I have a notebook. I do a to-do list every night so that I know what I want to accomplish the next morning. And that probably has been the biggest help for me, because I have a list of what I want to get done instead of waking up in the morning and kind of saying like, what am I going to do today? Because I found when I wasn't organized, that's when I got the most stressful. And that was when I'd say, forget Beachbody today. I have to get all this other stuff done. Forget it. I actually, like, we have a cleaning schedule now. We meal plan, like we make sure that we meal plan every week. So that stuff is taken care of for the week. Like I know what I have to do, and I get my cleaning and my laundry out in the morning so that I have the afternoons and the evenings to work on my business. I can dedicate that time. And we have a calendar hanging up in our little family command center. And I have everything written down when I have team calls, when I have meetings when I'm going to be working my business. And my kids know, like in the afternoon, there's times that, I may have a call that I have to do with a prospect or a coach. And I tell them, like, mommy's working, and they're really funny because now, like, my husband came home with Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and they're like, that's not on your meal plan. Your kids really do learn from you, and they sometimes kind of help me get like back on track, because they'll be like, what workout are you doing today? Did you work out yet? Did you have your shake? So that's really helped me. But I've been seeing those adult coloring books, and I kind of want to see, they're supposed to help with like anxiety and stress. So I'm kind of interested to see if they really work. So I may pick one of those up to kind of help on those days that, especially with the holidays coming, they're stressful for everyone. I want to see if they work, if they're really calming, or if it'll just be frustrating. So we'll see.
It does help, by the way.
Have you tried it?
Yeah, I suffer from depression, so I've tried it all.
Good. Then I'm going to have to go to Barnes & Noble and pick some up.
Do it.
I was telling my husband about it. He's like, why can't you just color with the kids' coloring book? I was like, I don't think that's the same thing, but.
Pastels are nice too. Just trying new things, keeping your hands busy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again. Does anybody else have questions? Anything they'd like to share? Yeah.
I have a question. I have a question. Can you hear me?
Oh, Rosa. Go ahead, Rosa.
Yeah. Sorry. Hi, Jenny. I'm driving, so that's why you can't see me. I just have a question. When you opened your doors back up, did you find that your warm market or like your cold market was more receptive? Because I feel like I kind of slacked off all of August. So I feel like my warm market isn't the best route to go anymore. So what was your experience?
Actually, I have to say my warm market actually probably was more receptive. It actually was a lot of people in my warm market that kept telling me, no, 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 no. And I shared the month of everything that went on in April and May with us. I shared on my Facebook page, my personal page, and I shared with everyone what we were going through. And we had a lot of support from that. And actually, when I started posting my workouts and stuff again, I got a lot of messages from people saying, oh, I'm really glad to see you working out again. I missed your workouts. I missed your posts. So the warm market definitely was more receptive. But there was something just in June after closing it and seeing the hurt that I did to my business that really made me just push to also build my cold market. Like I started reaching out to people. Like I used to be very hesitant just because I'm not comfortable talking to people. There was just something that maybe I had to close my business and see the effect that I did for it to finally click. But it helped me really push myself to just start talking to people that I didn't know, and strike up conversations. And now those are some of the people that are starting to sign up this month. But you really have to just be consistent. And it may, like Audrey told me, she was actually surprised that I hit Success Club in July after being closed for a month. She really thought it was going to take a few months to build up that trust again with my warm market, my cold market. I don't know if it was luck or whatever, but I worked really hard. I put in a lot of hours to, back into my business to regain that trust from my warm market.
Danny, when were you sharing?
Great, thanks. That's actually really.
Sorry, Rosa. It's part of my question is part of your question to clarify something. When did you share your struggles?
Well, we had posted about the death of Charlie's canine partner when it happened, because my husband completely shut out. He didn't talk to anyone for a week. He didn't talk to his family. He talked to no one. So I kind of was his voice. And then I probably shared what was going on. I shared when Lorenzo did his head. I posted then, but I think I posted like right at the end of May, beginning of June, an actual post of basically how hard the month was. And I did a post about people that suffer from depression, anxiety, PTSD. You look at us and you think we're fine. but you don't know all the struggles that we're actually dealing with inside. So I kind of did my post about that. That, yes, you saw my husband's dog die. You saw that Lorenzo got hurt, but you're not realizing that it brought up all this anxiety. It brought up all this PTSD and the effect that it actually has on us and our family, because you can't see it, and it basically put I always seem happy and, smiling and stuff on Facebook, but I'm not always happy. And I think by being real, and actually I think Audrey did a post about this past week, that it doesn't always have to be sunshine and rainbows, that, your Facebook should really be like your diary. So if you're really struggling with something, you have to be brave enough and courageous enough to actually share it. And that's something that took me a really long time to do on social media. Because I wasn't comfortable sharing that I had PTSD and anxiety and depression, because to me, I felt like a failure because I had those things. Because to everyone else, I look fine. And it was very hard explaining that because, my husband's family doesn't understand it at all. They're very judgmental and they don't understand what we're going through on a day-to-day basis. And because of that, I used to hold it in. But then I realized there's so many people like me out there that I need to share my story, because maybe it will inspire them to get help, to do something for themselves. And honestly, focusing on my health and my fitness has helped tremendously, because by losing some of the baby weight and eating properly, I have more energy and I just feel better about myself. So my depression now compared to before I joined Beachbody is completely different. I used to be on Cymbalta. I'm not on anything now at all. I'm off of it. I told my doctor, I was like, I'm doing all this. I feel great. He's like, let's try it out. And then I haven't been back on since.
Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have questions? Kristen, did you have a question?
I have a question.
I did, Elena, but you actually asked it.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
That's fine. That's fine. I got my answer anyway.
Go ahead, Anna.
So the whole call is about the importance of having your business open every day. Did you go through any, I don't know if I'm going to answer right, but do you have any anxiety about not being able to be there at one point or another? I don't know if I'm making sense of what I'm saying.
Like, do I have anxiety, like if I have to close my business for a day?
Like when you close your business for that month, did you at any point say, oh my God, like did that affect you, like as far as your anxiety, like the anxiety and the not being there and not doing what you're supposed to do? Like, did that cause any major issues? Because I know that I go through that. Like, if I can't be there at, like, let's say, like if I can't open shop, like it just takes a great amount of like emotions not to like be like, oh my God, I got to do this and I got to do this. And then at one point I'm like you saying, like you just crush and like don't do it at all. Like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to be there. And how do you deal with that? Like,
when I closed in May, I didn't care about Beachbody. I'll be honest. I was like, I could not deal, because everything fell on me. Like my husband's everything just fell on me. And I was like, I am not Superwoman. I cannot handle the emotions of everything that we're going through. My emotions, I was like, forget it. Like Beachbody, I had no anxiety of closing it. I was like, whatever happens. That was like my attitude, which is an awful attitude to have.
right.
If I actually sat back before closing my doors and thought, well, if I close my doors, what's going to happen? I probably would have asked for help and figured out a way not to close my doors. Now, come June, when I was working my butt off, yes, I had anxiety. Like, I have to make sure I get my post. I have to make sure I do this. I have to get back, because I wasn't back on a schedule. I didn't have a schedule. I just felt like I woke up every morning and was like, I have to do this, 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 and this, and this, and I want to do this and this and this. I really want to say once we did, Revive was in July, I think. Revive helped me a lot as far as my posts, because sometimes I used to sit there and think like, what should I post today? That really helped me get on schedule. So now I have a file on my computer of all future posts, things that I want to post. So I know, like Mondays, Motivational Mondays, or Tasty Tuesdays, or whatever themes you may do for your page. Like I have a file so that I can kind of schedule some posts, but then I also know ahead of time, like, okay, this is my theme for the day. So I'll take, if it's workout Wednesday, I'll make sure that on Wednesday I do a workout video and post it. It really took over a month to get on a schedule, and that helped with my anxiety. And I really try to stick to it. And I've learned to tell people, like, if someone wants to call in 15 minutes, but I'm in the middle of doing something, like I've learned to say, well, I'm busy at the moment. How about this time? Where before I used to be like, okay, sure. I could be in the middle of the doctor's office and be like, hold on, doctor, like I gotta take a phone call. I recommend doing some type of schedule and a to-do list. Like my to-do list, like, is my life. And I used to do that when I was working. I made a to-do list so that I knew when I came into work every morning what I wanted to accomplish. And obviously the things that I had to accomplish went on the top of my to-do list, and I got them out of the way. And that's what's been working for me now. And if I don't finish, like, all the things at the bottom of my to-do list, if I don't finish them that day, I just move them on to the next day. It's taken me a while. Like, I don't beat myself up that, oh my God, I didn't get all this stuff done. Because there's always tomorrow. In any business, you don't always get everything that you want done in a day, no matter what business it is. I used to work in the restaurant business. There's things that we wanted to do that just had to get pushed to the next day. Just don't be too hard on yourself.
Because sometimes for me, especially, it's like I have so many things going around that by the time, like, I want to post something, like, I'm so anxious about it, and I'm like, oh, I have to do it. That, I want to make it so that it's fun also, because you don't want to take the fun out of it, because then it becomes a drag. So, I mean, that's my personal thing. Like, it's just, it gets to a point where I don't want to do it because it's like, I have to do it. And it seems like I'm pressured to do it, which, I mean, it is a business. You have to do it, but you don't want it to be like, I have to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And I have a coach she's a working coach who is a major introvert. I mean, she'll literally write her Facebook post and then delete it. She's posted Facebook posts, and I go to comment or like send her a message like, oh my God, that's great. And then I go back and she deleted it off Facebook. And I've had to be like, go put that back on Facebook now. Like, that was a great post. She second guesses herself, or like she used to feel like instead of like just enjoying her workout, she had to make sure that she was taking like a video and stuff of it. Which I've also recommended to her to have a schedule for her posts, like what she wants to do every day. So you don't have to take a picture of yourself every day doing your workout. We switch it up. Like, I post probably my post-workout pictures or video like 2 to 3 times a week, if that. I post it every day in my challenge group, because if your challengers don't see you working out, they're not going to stick to their program either, because they'd be like, well, she's not doing it, why should I? And then a couple times a week we do like a meal and stuff. My husband has started working the business with me a little bit now, so it's helped, because sometimes he'll actually post or he'll come up with ideas. But definitely just try to get some sort of schedule. And if you're not in the mood, then don't do it, because you're probably just going to post something that has no meaning or that you're not really into.
Right. Well, thank you.
And there actually, I forgot, I'll find out from Audrey, there was a personal development book that she actually recommended for my coach. I will find out the name and I'll give it to Gabby for you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
I also have another question, just keeping on the theme of scheduling and trying to make yourself as organized as possible. How do you organize your power hour or your business hours, however long they are?
So usually I try to schedule my morning post the night before in my power hour. My power hour is usually at night after the kids go to bed, because they're very distracting during the day. Because during the day, like I'll check like our team chats, I'll check in on my challenge group. And actually my challenge group, we have almost 100 challengers, but I also have 3 other coaches in there. And I was posting all the time and I finally got to the point like, hey, your challengers are in here too. We're dividing up the work. So we each have a couple days that we're responsible making sure that we post 2 to 3 times in the challenge group. We're also very lucky that because we have such a large group, there are a lot of active challengers that do post constantly. So it's not like we constantly have to be in there trying to get, people to engage and stuff. So I'm all for having joint challenge groups. I think it's great. I think it takes off some of the work on us. And if you go on vacation, like you have someone there that can cover your post for you. You don't have to sit on your vacation and be like, oh my God, I got to check in on my challenge group. I got to check in on my challengers. We went away for a couple of days and I told the other coaches, I told my challengers, I'm going to be away. These are the 3 coaches that are going to be running the challenge group. And it was great. I didn't have to take time away from my kids and my husband. We just got to enjoy the 3 days together. And I didn't, have to worry about it. I did at night when the kids went to bed, I did schedule my post for the next day so that I made sure that my business was open. And I would take like 15 minutes in the middle of the day, like when they were having lunch or whatever, and just to kind of check on everything. But for my power hour, besides scheduling my post for the next day, I kind of look to see what additional posts I want to do. I create my to-do list. I message my challengers personally 1 to 2 times a week. So I will also do that in my challenge group. And right now I only have a couple working coaches. So we have a team chat. So like I usually check in on them there and they know if they have a problem or anything, they'll just text me. And I give them hours. They know that I'm available from 8 to 10, that I will get back to them. If they text me in the morning and if I'm available, great, I'll get back to them. If not, they know that in the evening, I'll get back to them. That was really important for me because when I first started the business, I felt like I was working all day. My husband felt like I was working all day. My kids felt like I was working all day. And I was like, I really need to just kind of, focus and do 1 to 2. I work 1 to 2 hours. That's like my power hour. And I do my PD at night. That is the last thing I do before I go to bed. I'll read usually 10 to 15 minutes in bed. And then I invite, I use a lot of the same verbiage. I have it all saved in Evernote, which is an awesome tool to use. I have, call to action scripts. I have follow-up messages. I have invite messages. I have it all in there. So I will use that. I'll copy and paste it, but then I also make it personal. If someone just had, hey, how's the baby doing, blah, blah, and then I'll just copy and paste that message so that I'm not taking time trying to think of a new message and like type it out. It's already done and I'll just copy and paste. So that's really basically what I do for those 2 hours. And then there's, different Facebook groups. I try to join new Facebook groups and I'll post in there and I'll go through my news feed and comment and stuff on friends' pictures, posts and what like that and whatnot. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? No? Okay. So I've been here listening the whole time. He finally went to sleep. But have you had a call? Like, have we had you as a speaker for Leadwell?
I did. I don't even know, months and months ago. Before I closed my business, I did some call.
But it wasn't about your story?
No, I think it was basically.
Don't be mad because I will be recommending it.
Oh, thank you. I forgot what the call was. Something like, how do I run? Oh, it was like 3 different careers. It was 3 women, 3 different careers, like how we run our business.
Oh, is it like a day in the life of or something like that?
Kind of. It was like, yeah, I think so. I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Your story is powerful. The whole time, seriously, the whole time, I was like, wow, like I didn't know anything about you, and you are so inspirational.
Oh,
And
thank you.
this call was so amazing, and everything that you touched upon was like all these nuggets, and it was just like so dead on. So thank you so much for spending the time with us. Thank you so much for, you know, all the information that you've provided and all the tools, because I know that the girls took a lot of notes with all the nuggets. And seriously, wow.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for, listen, I am also an introvert. And so I know that hot feeling in the face.
I'm like burning up right now.
But honestly, just, you know, the fact that you put yourself out there is what's gonna, you know, it's what moves your business forward. You know, the fact that you are confronting fears, and the fact that, you know, you came back after all of that you've experienced in May, and, you know, God doesn't make mistakes, and you probably did have, like you said, probably you did have to go through all of that to, you know, realize that this is an amazing business, and that you know, have a huge story, and that you are going to make a lot of impact in many people's lives. So thank you so much for spending Sunday with us.
Thank you for having me.
It was such a pleasure.
Thank you.
And I will be recommending that you speak on the call.
On our next diamond call. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. But thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, ladies, for jumping on tonight's call. And Danny, I have it recorded, so you want me to share it so that you can share it with the team?
Oh, that would be perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks
Thanks.
again.
Good night. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
You too.